We went from manual, bi-weekly deployments and chaos to autonomous teams with same-day releases. TOGAF was only 20% of the solution. In this video, I will show you exactly how we used just the practical parts of TOGAF to fix real coordination chaos, including the mistakes that nearly killed the project. Three weeks into my government architecture engagement, leadership dropped the impossible request: move from bi-weekly releases to continuous deployment. Give teams autonomy. Complete DevOps transformation. You have 12 months. 4 development teams delivering Java packages every 2 weeks. 1 platform team manually collecting everything, like being the only cashier during Black Friday that never ends. No team autonomy. Complete dependency bottleneck. But what nobody prepared me for was this part. Organizational transformation without phase structure becomes chaotic firefighting. TOGAF ADM phases turns that chaos into systematic capability building. I call this the phase structure rule. Never do organizational change without a phase structure. Otherwise, you end up firefighting instead of building capabilities. The phase structure rule means using ADM methodology to manage complexity systematically. Apply this when everyone wants everything changed immediately, but nobody wants to plan how. If you have been through any large transformation, this will feel uncomfortably familiar, I assume. Teams demanding instant autonomy. Platform teams drowning in requests. Leadership asking for magic timeline compression. But what I discovered through all of this changed how I approached any transformation. TOGAF Phase A. Architecture vision became survival mode against competing stakeholder chaos. 4 different groups, 4 different definitions of urgent business requirements. The vision document was 6 pages. Page 1 picture of current versus target release processes. Page 2, 3 success metrics: deployment frequency, lead time, mean time to recovery. Page 3 to 6, who changes what? Teams, platform, leadership. That's it. This document served one purpose: diplomatic translation between groups who spoke different languages. Ministry stakeholders got business agility. Platform management got stability roadmap. Team leads got autonomy boundaries. Developers got tool clarity. I call this the translation rule. Architecture documents exist to translate, not to impress. If stakeholders do not understand it, it is not an architecture, it is the decoration. Let's do a Phase A recap. First, what we did. We created a 6-page vision document focusing on translation between stakeholder groups. And why it mattered? It eliminated weeks of circular stakeholder debates about transformation goals. And what you can take out of it? Well, pick one transformation and create 1 page before after visual plus 3 success metrics. The breakthrough insights that saved weeks of meetings. Vision documents are not one-time deliverables. They need regular stakeholder validation. I learned this after creating 47 pages that nobody read. Phase B, business architecture, attacked the coordination nightmare. 4 different development teams, 25 applications, constant cross-team dependencies, creating meetings hell. I call this the ownership boundary rule. Every cross-team capability must have exactly 1 owning team, or you are buying permanent coordination debt. Each team got specific business domain ownership. Team A owned citizen services. Team B owned permit processes. Team C owned document management, and Team D owned notifications. clear interfaces, no shared ownership. Phase C, information systems architecture, meant designing the API contracts between domains. For the permit status API, we forced 3 rules. Versioned endpoint, maximum 200 millisecond response time, single owning team, no more shared responsibility. Application architecture organized by team ownership. Each team controls their application completely. Integration happens through documented contracts, not constant negotiation meetings. The transformations that changed everything? Well, the main boundaries eliminate 80% of coordinational meetings when designed with clear ownership rules. So let's do phase B and C micro recap. What we did? We applied ownership boundary rule to eliminate shared team responsibilities. And why it mattered? It reduced coordination meetings by 80% through clear domain boundaries. And what you can get out of it, you can poke one cross-team capability and assign single ownership. Start with decision-making authority even if implementation stays shared. Remember the ownership boundary rule when teams start arguing about responsibilities. But getting teams to accept ownership, that is where the real battle happened. Phase D, technology architecture, transformed the platform team from bottleneck to enablement team. No more collecting deployments every 2 weeks. Teams needed self-service capabilities, container orchestration for autonomous deployments, automated pipelines for each team workflow, monitoring and logging for operational visibility, security spanning all teams while enabling independence. Phase E, opportunities and solutions, meant systematic migration planning. We started with pilot project. Team C volunteered first, they wanted autonomy most urgently. 3 months as pilot, clear success metrics. Risk assessment covering technical and cultural factors. Something shifted after phase B and C were completed. Technology decisions became straightforward. Technical choices followed naturally from business requirements and domain boundaries. Framework structure eliminated decision paralysis. So let's do a recap of phases D and E. What we did? We transformed the platform team from deployment bottleneck to self-service enablement. And why it mattered? Well, teams achieved autonomy without sacrificing enterprise coordination. And what you can copy? Pick one, manual platform process and design self-service version. Start with deployment automation for one teams. This framework eliminates decision paralysis during transformation. When questions arose about boundaries or technology choices, documented architecture provided clear guidance. "12 months later, measurable transformation success. Development teams operating autonomously, platform team enabling instead of bottlenecking, continuous deployment across all teams. 3 insights change how I apply TOGAF to any transformational house. First insight: ADM phases provide natural project structure for complex organizational changes. Each phase builds systematically. Progress becomes measurable. Stakeholders understand status clearly. Second insight: phases adapt to organizational constraints. We enabled phase A through E selectively. Full ADM cycle would have extended timeline unnecessarily for our scope. Framework adapts to reality. Third insight: ADM enables systematic decision-making under uncertainty. When complex choices arise, documented architecture principles provide guidance. When stakeholders disagree, shared vision provides resolution. Remember the 3 named rules. First is a phase structure rule, second is a translation rule, and the third one, ownership boundary rule. Those principles work across context while preventing analysis paralysis. The framework provides a practical toolkit for organizational transformation. Phase A through E addresses fundamental questions every enterprise architect faces. Stakeholder alignment, system organization, implementation planning, surviving stakeholder politics without losing your mind. Complete framework integration micro recap. What we did? We applied TOGAF ADM phases through AE to E selectively to manage DevOps transformation chaos. Why it mattered? Systematic decision-making eliminated analysis paralysis during complex change. What you can copy? Start with a phase structure rule for your next organizational transformation. Think of exactly one interface between two teams in your world. Ask, who owns it? Is the contract written down anywhere? If the answer is I do not know or sort of, that is your TOGAF opportunity. Remember the three rules: phase structure rule, translation rule, ownership boundary rule. Apply those to prevent organizational transformation chaos. I'm Yanis, sharing experience from national scale transformation challenges. Your organizational contexts will differ, of course, but systematic frameworks prevent complexity from overwhelming you.